Our princess is in another castle. Now, I want you to think about what such a simple line implies. First uttered by the captured toads at the end of the first 7 castles in Super Mario Bros., the use of the word "are" establishes the princess as a goal not just for Mario, but for the player as well. And with the exception of a few sports and racing spin offs, that is what Princess Peach Toadstool has remained for nearly 40 years. Now, sure, you could pick her in Super Mario Bros. 2, which was a dream, but until the Switch era, Peach has largely been the object that motivates us forward, far more than a character in her own right. Which is why so many of us were so damned excited when during a 2023 Direct, Nintendo announced a full-length adventure featuring Princess Peach as the star, that game becoming Princess Peach Showtime. But given Nintendo's track record with the character, that excitement was also balanced by a fair amount of skepticism. Good art starts by asking questions that good design answers. The first question being, who is Princess Peach? Well, combing through the resources of the various Mario games, cartoons, comic books, and even the new movie, there are a few constants we can look at. Peach is kind. She cares about others. She is level-headed despite an air of naivete that she sometimes exudes. And this gives her an almost motherly aura to the people around her. She also possesses powerful counter-magical aptitude, consistently demonstrating the ability to undo dark magic, such as when Bowser invaded her kingdom, transforming its citizens into brick blocks. So even in her earliest adventures, we could see that there was something more to this character. And as time moved forward, Nintendo started to see it too. Peach began to get more characterization in the Paper Mario games, as well as getting her own adventure in Super Princess Peach on the DS. The pattern of princess that reverses the darkness present in nearly all of these appearances. And while this is a well-borrowed archetype in both fantasy and literature, it also lends motivation and identity to synergize with her caring personality. And how they pull it all together into a proper gameplay identity will bring us back around to Princess Peach Showtime. We begin the game with Peach getting a flyer inviting her to visit the Sparkle Theater, which houses a variety of plays acted out by the Theats, an acting company specializing in producing comedies for the entertainment of their audiences. Upon arrival, but before she can pick a play to attend, the venue is invaded by Madame Grape and her Sour Bunch, a different acting troupe, one that prefers tragedies, their MO being not to write their own, but instead to transform other people's productions into tales of downfall and catastrophe. With the plays ruined and the main actors trapped by the dark magic used to corrupt their performances, it is now up to Peach to reverse the enchantments put on the plays with the help of Stella, a magical guardian of the theater. It's a good setup that has a level of ludonarrative synergy that was unexpected but welcome. Peach combining her ability to reverse magic with Stella's ability to project a spark of creativity onto Peach herself. And this is where the primary gameplay hook takes center stage, that being the game's stage roles. You see, each of the game's 10 plays is a story told in 3 acts. With each production missing its star, Princess Peach has to step into the role through the power of Stella's sparkle magic, embodying that character to become the lead actor on the stage. Once she's in the lead role, she can play out the part and save the production. The first level of any part is always going to be the origin story of that particular play, starting off with Peach just having her counter magic. Now this still lets her zap Sour Bunch actors to scare them away, or to fix something that might have been broken on the stage, which will raise the morale of the play's other Theats. But things really take off once you transform into your role. From a sword-fighting musketeer, to a singing mermaid, to a lassoing cowgirl, to a flying, brawling superhero, each of these 10 roles are distinct gameplay types that focus on a specific mechanic. So you'll be decorating cakes with timing and drawing mechanics as Patisserie Peach one moment, while sneaking and stealthing through a ninja fortress the next. My personal favorite has to be the time jumping and skate battles of Figure Skate Peach, or the grappling hook platforming and escape sequences of Dashing Thief Peach. I can't really decide between the two. And while everyone will have at least one role that they may not gravitate towards, for me, it was either the two basic point-and-click action of Detective Peach or the simplistic fighting of Kung Fu Peach. There are also bound to be more than a few that you'll have a lot of fun with as well, and the action is so brisk that you'll be on to the next role before you know it, and before you have a chance to get too soured on the gameplay type you don't like. Equally impressive is also how simple it is to perform these wardrobe changes. Each role can be controlled entirely with only a couple of button presses, turning what could have been a daunting learning curve into a fast-paced strength. Again, this could have been a genuine concern given how much gameplay variety is on tap here, yet Princess Peach Showtime treats it as just another part of the show, and once you get to the second and third acts of each play, it becomes one hell of a good time. Now sadly, this is also a bit of a double-edged sword that's guaranteed to cut some people, and so I do have to give that praise with a bit of a disclaimer. Because there's 10 plays, there are also going to be what amounts to 10 tutorials, with every stage 1 being so easy that even my niece and nephews, tiny humans that this game should have called to with the power of offering them ice cream for breakfast, instead getting bored and handing the Switch back to me. And this bad first impression is a shame. Showtime did a fantastic job of simplifying complex game types to their basic components and principles. And you just cannot have a game this simple combined with tutorial style content. Maybe, I don't know, there could have been separate tutorials that weren't part of the proper game for those who wanted or need them for whatever reason. But they do leave a terrible first impression that a lot of people, sadly, won't get past. But you should, because there are 5 floors with 4 plays available on each one. And saving all of the plays on a given floor opens up a door that contains one of the Sour Bunch's bosses, high-ranking members of the gang that serve to guard access to the theater's higher reaches. These are always fought with Princess Peach herself, with the goal being to use Peach's counter magic to damage them in between their attack patterns. From a disco-obsessed bird to a giant snake who hunts you with a spotlight, all of these encounters are a blast to play, and test Peach in ways different from what she encounters while playing her roles. It makes you wonder why the mainland Mario games can't do boss battles this interesting. Aside from the stages and bosses, there's also a few other things you can do around the theater. Throughout the plays, you're going to have the opportunity to get sparkle gems and coins, which can be turned in to decorate the theater, or buy dresses for Peach, or ribbons for Stella to transform into. Again, my favorite being the disco dress, it's so cool. But you'll also unlock the rehearsals, various time challenges for each role that result in more rewards. But that's sadly about it for the post-game, and with only 35 stages, counting bosses, this feels like it might have been more fairly priced at $40 instead of the $60 that I paid. Visually, this game is a treat, matching the gameplay diversity. The Sparkle Theater is a beautiful hub area, and the game makes incredible use of color to give each play a different flair. The stages all have good clarity to them as well, with only a small amount of blurriness seen on some of the busier moments, specifically with Kung Fu or Mighty Peach, likely from the dynamic resolution. But there were no frame rate dips, and given the sheer variety of scenarios available, I didn't see it as a problem. Animation is superb, with thieves following you throughout the play stages, interacting with the Sour Bunch. Everybody plays their parts, both face and heel, and it put a big smile on my face to see everybody being so enthusiastic on the stage as part of the production, friend and foe. But the real star of the show here has to be Princess Peach herself, each role having its own animations given to her, from the elegant glides of the figure skater to the cutesy swinging of the patisserie. And I won't spoil it here, but the entire final sequence between Madame Grape and Peach is a stellar showcase for what this game is capable of visually. Musically, the game's an absolute bop, from the light jazz motifs of Under the Cover of Night, to the heart-pumping beats of Assassin Disco, to the soothing piano of Time for Tea. Diversity is once again the pattern here for this game. The Thieves and Sour Bunch also avoid the Nintendo syndrome of having obnoxious voiced characters. And their cries, grunts, and utterances were actually not a bother to me this time. Not in the least. So, getting back to that original question, did Nintendo's design answer the question of who is Princess Peach? When I started my playthrough, I was tempted to say no. The constant drip of tutorial style levels in the early game had me struggling to keep playing. And in the back of my head was this question. It just kept appearing there. Maybe, just maybe, if they had stuck to one gameplay style, fleshed it out, honed in on it, what could this have looked like? But the problem is, that doesn't answer the question we started with either. If you're saying that Princess Peach Showtime is a bad action game, or a bad RPG, or a bad platformer, that could be true, in the way that Dr. Pepper makes a really bad cup of orange juice. You aren't wrong, but you also aren't right either. But judged on its own merits, Princess Peach Showtime is a good game. Peach came to the Sparkle Theater to see a show, once again the object. And she ended up being the actor on the stage and the hero of her own story instead. Doing so being the only way to undo Madame Grape's dark magic. The game is, well, it's a whole ass microcosm of all of her struggles and evolution as a character, wrapped up in what I consider to be a genuinely delightful package. And if you can't appreciate that, then I understand. Just like I understand that orange juice isn't everyone's drink of choice. But when I look back on my time with Princess Peach and Showtime, and my time with Peach's evolution from damsel to hero throughout these 40 years, no character has had to struggle harder to get to this point. But she did it. She turned the tragedy of her journey into a true comedy that brightened my day at the very least. And I think that's cool. I think that's why you should play Princess Peach Showtime. Folks, thanks for tuning in here again. And I gotta tell you, if you had told me even a few months ago that I would have this level of a emotional reaction to a damn Princess Peach game, I probably would have laughed at you. I would have joined you in laughing at me, certainly. But that's what I love about this. Exploring these games takes us to places that we may not even know we have. And so, if you got something out of this too, if I even halfway piqued your interest in playing this game, consider giving the channel a like and a subscribe. It's a brand new channel. I typically don't do that on the larger channel, but this is a new effort and I'm trying something a little new here. And feel free to tell me about a game that maybe I missed that I didn't give a proper chance to. Make sure to put that in the comments below, and I will see you again, and sooner than you think. Thanks again.